Now making these flowers is quite easy, and you can see if you look on the side here that this flower is actually made up of a lot of different layers they're actually circles. And I started out with a circle like this, and I snipped the edges, which I'll show you in a second, and then I melted, and that's why the flower petals go up, and that they become dimensional once you melt them. Now when I made this flower here, I have 5 different sizes of circles in here, ranging from, this is a 7-inch wide one, ranging from 7 inches to 6 inches, 5 inches, 4.5 inches, and 3 inches. The smaller the circle, the more difficult it is to melt without burning it or burning your fingers. So I wouldn't go too much smaller, but you can experiment and see what you're comfortable with. So each of these is made up of actually 3 circles of the same size. And I'll talk to you about that when I get into the assembly part. But let's talk about these circles. So this is my 7-inch circle, and you can see it is not perfect. I basically used my circle template as a guide, and what you're going to do is you have your circle right here, and you're going to snip the petals. Now I have found that I like a petal that's about 2 inches for the big guys, and for my little flowers about 1 inch at the widest edge. So this is like 2 inches right here that I'm cutting. And I'm going to cut all the way around. And of course, I'm leaving a nice center here. I don't want to cut all the way through because then my flower wouldn't stay together. And I'm pretty random about it. I don't measure. I just kind of snip. And that's what's so nice about this project, is you don't need to measure too much. So, okay, so you can see that I've got my flower or my circle cut out into petals. So now I'm going to bring my flame in, and of course my water is right here. It's out of sight of the camera, but it's right next to me, so do not worry. And I'm going to take one petal. You want to expose just one petal because you just want to burn one at a time. It gives you more control. And what I do is I pinch towards the center of my circle here, towards the center of the petal, so that you can see that my curve is going the way that I want my flower to curve. So like this curve here is kind of going up this way, and so it will burn the same way. So you can experiment with that. And see, I'm just putting it close to the flame, but not too close because I don't want to catch it on fire. I just want to melt it. And you can see it's now melted. Now this color here that I'm using, this burgundy color, seems to melt into like a darker color here. But the whites and the gold that I use don't seem to do that. So I don't know if it's this organza or if it's this darker color that does that. So I will do this with each petal, and I'm going to do a couple of petals for you. So I'm going to now expose a new petal, and I'm going to pinch it at the center so that it's curving the way I want it to curve when I'm all done. And I'm putting it near the flame. Now it looks like I'm putting it in the flame in the video because I'm upside down here, but I am not. It is above the flame. And then I'm going to do another one. Once again, pinch it towards the center area and put it near the flame and let it melt just a little bit. And you want to be patient with this. If you start to get impatient, you're going to be burning your fingers and burning your petals. Okay, once again, pinching and melting. I am probably about 1 inch to 2 inches away from the flame as I melt. So I'll do it again here. And now be careful also when you are melting, because you don't want to touch the edge that has melted right away. It cools down within a few seconds, but if you touch it right away, you will burn your fingers or your hand. I have done that quite a bit. It's not a bad burn, at least mine haven't been, but still, it doesn't feel good. Okay, see how that's coming along here? And you can see the difference. Let me move this over. The difference between the petals that I've melted and the petals that I have not. You can see that they're adding dimension, and how cool that is. So let me finish this one up here. And there's a little bit of a smell, but not enough that it bothers me. And I'm pregnant, so and I have like this super center. So if it doesn't bother me, you'll probably be okay. Although you can, of course, do this in an open area so it's not too stinky. Okay, I've got a couple more petals to go here. 2 more, and then we're done with this one. Now, I like to just kind of do the edges here, like the ends, because I found if I do too far down the petal that I burn it like right here, and then the petal falls off. I have done that quite a few times. So I basically just kind of do the edges. And you can see that it makes them nice and curved. Okay, so I just finished melting my edges here. Whoop, let's turn it over. And because I pinched each of the petals the same way, each of the petals is curved after it's melted the same way. So isn't that neat? Now, let's get into assembly.